The Last of Everything, a short story, copyrighted July 12, 2007 by Cupiderosbooks, 2,758 words. This is from Woman Unbound Stories 1. The silence dominated everything. Erica stood in her blue jean overalls, hands on her hips. Her blonde hair blew in the acid breeze of dry air. Loose strands escaped from her impromptu golden coiffured bond. Her pink blouse under her blue suspender overalls bulged at her ample chest. She scanned the landscape, sparse, stump upon stump upon stump, poked out of the mountain hillside as she listened to the chop, chop, chop sounds Dex made on a huge redwood tree. She watched Dex work. How green the grass was up here, but how sad too, she thought. Even when she'd modeled high fashion, Erica never liked being ignored, and since the accident left the atmosphere scorched like Matrix movie fame, only less severe, and left the population decimated, empty cities all over the planet. She wondered why bother with fixing her hair and putting on blush. Only Dex would see it after all. It's not like she'd find someone to show off her looks with her webcam on the satellite internet. Dex Hun, she said, cogging away from their small cabin filled with grocery stores, products pillaged for eating, bathing, reading, fixing, and entertaining. Just walking, or more like stumbling over the lumpy earth, was a chore in itself. Yeah, Erica. He never paused to stop chopping. How's dinner coming? It's coming, Dex, she said, stumbling forward, lifting her leg high over another tree stump. I like you in that tight Levi's and that red and black checkered shirt. You know it's my favorite. Stay back, Erica, he warned. I have to finish this before the noon sun comes up. You know it's twice as hot as normal in the winter. Chop, chop. Dex stopped and looked skyward and put his hand as a shield over his black eyebrows. The redwood towered up and up and up. What if not Jack, but Jill climbed the beanstalk? Erica asked and laughed. Ever wonder how that story turned out? Dex laughed and brought his eyes downward to stare at his wife. Why, I married a fashion model, aka civil engineer. He shook his head and started chopping again. I'll never know. You liked my breast size, hon. Oh yeah. He smiled and lifted the heavy axe up, the Haniel manufacturer's name worn off from more than 3 years of chopping trees. Erica stood near him watching his tight buns and his broad shoulders flexing. He bring the axe way back and like a snake lashing out at a rabbit, the handle moved fast inside the white flesh triangle of wood near the tree's base. Hon, I hate when you destroy things. Don't start again, Erica. You destroy things when we cook. You destroy things when you throw out the trash. We have that portable toilet to build, and when we connect it to the river, we'll kill microscopic life as well as fish. Humans destroy things. He stopped chopping, and the gray axe head hit the earth with a thud. That's what humans do best. Stop it. It's what killed the planet, the people. Hun, it's not my fault. There's no one to see your pretty face or that form. And he winked at her. On the cable satellites wobbling about, circling the earth. I don't care about that, Dex. She tucked some loose golden hair tendrils back into place. She felt the amputated wood gingerly with her fingers before sitting down. He never paused to stop chopping. Chop, chop, chop. I know there are people out there, Dex. We just have to connect with them, link up with them. Erica, we tried that for 2 years now. I'm tired of it. He focused on the ground and noticed an ant struggling, pulling, stopping, pulling, lifting, shifting and carrying off a piece of bitter honey candy fragment out of the candy wrapper. Dex loved bitter honey candy, but sadly, he had eaten the last one this morning. We're the last people on Earth, Erica. Get used to it. I can't. I won't accept that, Dex. She sat with her knees together holding that imaginary shiny penny her grandmother told her about. How ridiculous, she thought. Who cares if she sat with her legs splayed wide open cowboy style, or better yet, stripper style, seeking a high roller for a 2 weeks pay lap dance. Someone's out there. We can't be the last people on Earth. Why not? Those stupid military assholes launched the limited nuclear war. We'd only hurt their atmosphere, not ours, they said. Because life doesn't work that way, Dex. It just doesn't. Humans are social creatures. It's in our blood. Women's blood. Men's blood, too. It's irrelevant, Erica, to use a plural. He shot her a dirty look. Say, woman. He softened and turned back to see the ant met two more comrades, and they easily dragged the half-an-inch candy fragment down their ant hole. I won't give up, she said, standing up abruptly. It's so fucking pathetic, men in their wars. What are we going to do, Dex? We watched the last seedy movie last night. He began chopping in earnest again. Chop, 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 chop. Bride of Frankenstein's brother. He chuckled a bit. What gets into those Hollywood producers? I like the beginning, starting with the wedding and all. The strange cast of characters in the old European town. Transylvania, was it? Chop, chop, chop. Erica laughed in early fits and then continued for a while. That's Dracula's hometown. Dex started laughing. I know. Chop, chop, chop. Erica rushed up to him on the downswing and hugged him tight. Dex! Erica! Don't ever do that again. She replied sheepishly, I won't. Damn, honey. He heaved from being out of breath and shock. You scared the fucking daylights out of me. Dex, you know we're possibly the last love story. And it is the stories that live on. What are we watching? The last stories made into films. Reading the last stories printed in books. All those ebooks lost, inaccessible. Plato and Poe and Dumas would have a fit. She hugged him tight and buried her face in his broad shoulders. She could smell the faint scent of the aftershave last man. Gumby, stop it. He reached and placed his calloused hands on her thin, calloused hands around his waist. We're not the last people. Her voice expressed cheer. See, you agree. No, Gumby, I'm humoring you. He raised her hands up to his lips to kiss her ring finger. She snatched his hand away and pushed him off, nearly pushing him into the wrinkled redwood. I never liked the nickname Gumby. I'm 34, 24, 34D. How you figure I'm Gumby? He turned and stared up at the redwood tree and then back to her soft, shapely form. No, not in size, but in flexibility. Dex smiled. You're dirty. Nasty. She slapped his chest playfully. All you ever think about. Well, you call me Patch, and I resent it. I'm not some fixer-upper. I'm a paper-pusher corporate manager forced into this pioneer role. Erica pulled him away from the redwood tree. Aw, Patch, you know I love you for who you are, not for what you can do. She hugged and they kissed. They parted. He said softly, liar. She said softly, you're my hero in the last love story. I've got to get back to work, Erica. Chop, chop, chop. I'm going to get dinner. She left for a minute, returned with her shotgun and raised it in the air. Dinner. Go get 'em, killer, Dex said. Gee, Patch, don't use those terms, she said as she stumbled walked down the hill in the southern direction where the last game roamed sometimes. A short while later, a shot broke the stranglehold of silence on the mountainside. After a short while, Dex could hear the loud huffing and puffing below, out of sight down the hill. Excited, he ran down to meet her. What the fuck? A 32-point deer? Erica was proud of herself. There was a lot of blood on her thigh. Damn, I told you if you found a 32-point deer hunt not to shoot it but to call me. I know you've been hunting 2/3 of your 32 years, Patch, but we have to eat. You couldn't call me on the cell phone? We don't know whether there are any more cell cards in the deserted grocery store 5 miles away. He knelt down and stared at the glassy eyes of the dead buck. He felt the still warm fur and the handle of the horns. Okay, Gumby. But next time be flexible and let me do the killing. Fuck. He stood. You're robbing me of my manhood every day. She scoffed. What the fuck? You always want to invoke your manhood when it matters to you. But when I try to speak of womanhood, you deny other people exist. I'm sorry, hon. You should be. And don't be a jerk, she said. And she started dragging the deer off toward the kitchen. Mentally, along the way, Erica prepared herself to cut off his head of the deer, of the buck, and prepare dinner. She turned back and noticed the redwood. Her head nodded upward toward the tree. What's with that redwood tree still standing? I received a call. Erica dropped the deer like a rag doll. You did? Who was it? Erica, tell me everything. Did we know them? Erica. She wiped her bloody hand across her brow, putting instant blush on her forehead. Yes, it was one of those recorded time bill collectors. They wanted to remind us to make a payment on our condo. Erica fumed. Fucking bastard bill collectors. Everyone blown into atoms on the planet and fucking bill collectors want their money. Erica reached out and held Dex tightly. Dex, I want a baby. Oh no. No. No fucking way are we committing incest. Incest? Who do you think the child will mate with? Erica lowered her head and stared into her bloody hands. I never... Well, it never occurred to me to answer that question. Erica, we haven't found a soul in 3.5 years. Doesn't mean we won't ever, she shouted. He blurted loudly, I'm not taking that chance. We have to create people again, she retorted. So that's it, Erica. Want to pull rank on me. Assert your goddess-given right to creation and power. He stumped his foot. He marched off and sat on the tree stump by the half-cut redwood, not nearly ready to teeter-totter on his own to its death. Dex heard his wife's crunching footsteps, sure and firm, approaching. She yanked him by his red and black checkered shirt. It's got to be done. You're talking not one child, but at least 2. So what, Dex? And what if it's triplets, Erica? Then we have to have another child. And those 2, hopefully girl and boy, can mate. You think, Erica, we can guarantee we'll have a girl and then a boy in that order? Why do you make everything related to people and caring so fucking complicated? This isn't some corporation where people willingly submit to slavery for money. This is life. This is creation of something magnificent. We have to do it. So they can create a mob and start a kingdom and create wars. And if there's some other tribe alive out there on the other side of the planet, when after some 4 or 5 centuries we can conquer them and start the whole madness of civilizing the planet all over? Erica stood breathless. When you want, you have a devastating way of making life seem like shit. It is. Worthless. People are clueless. All they want is to eat, shit, work, fuck, and have more children so their children can grow up and do the same. No one wants enlightenment. No one cares for heaven, much less heaven on earth. Some of us want to bring peace, but you're outnumbered, Erica. You'll always be outnumbered. The ant automatons who want nothing but to eat, sleep, work, shit, fuck and buy things will outbreed the enlightened sensitive souls every time. Erica shouted at Dex. Asshole. A couple hours later, Erica! She rushed out wearing an apple pie apron, her blonde hair in a perfect tight but pretty bun. Dex? We're ready for the tree falling. Erica Stummel walked over to the redwood tree. We should say a prayer. Hun, if there were any gods, don't you think they would have acted before now? Don't push my buttons, Dex. Dinner is nearly ready. We can watch last year's home video of our building the larger outer house which protects our inner house from the harsh weather and how we cleared all the land tonight, she said with a sigh. That's just it, hun. Dex pointed to the tree swaying in the dry, acid air. That is the last tree. What? Erica looked around the hillside over the expanse of green land and down past the far reaches of brown and green patches of earth and space. She turned around and around. Dex nodded. This old redwood is the last of its kind. Seeds won't sprout in this acid dirt. Erica started sobbing and sat down on a tree stump of white flesh. She could smell the wooden, still fresh smell from last year's cutting. Dex stood confused. Hun, it's all right. I'm sure there's another tree out there somewhere in the world. We just haven't found it. But Erica kept sobbing and sobbing. Gumby, we'll go out on the internet and use one of the global satellites, the ones letting you zoom in anywhere on the planet down to street level where you can see a mailbox if you want to. She kept sobbing. We've done that before, Patch. Yes, but that was looking for people. This time we'll focus on redwoods, only redwoods. We'll scan and see all over the west and the east and in Brazil and Peru, if it's still there, and India and Europe. We'll find the redwood, I'm telling you, and you won't have to feel so bad. Still sniffling and sobbing. What about the deer? Erica sobbed some more. What about them, Dex? Yes, Erica, we'll go looking for deer too. We'll look in all the green forests, those places where there's agriculture. We'll look in the high and low altitudes. We're murderers, Dex, not people. We have to prove we can be people, responsible people, Patch. Dex knelt down between her spread legs. How can we do that, hun? How else? She put her hand on her belly. What? We're having a baby, Dex. She started sobbing for joy. Hun, you told me you were using 2 forms of contraceptive, and I use condoms every time. He stood up slow and felt betrayed. I didn't use them, I faked it. I saw you put it in. I replaced it with a look-alike substance, lubrications, but I wore condoms. The best, most durable kind. She paused. I put pinholes in them. They were sealed. Erica shouted, I resealed them. He stumbled back at her deviousness. You witch. You wanted to patch up your needs for companionship. No, I wanted us to have a family, to bring back the family of Earth, to do it right this time. We can't do anything right. How can two people do something right that millions and billions couldn't get right, Erica? This is ludicrous. Dex, we can do it right because it is a controlled situation, just you and me. And when they grow up, who's going to keep them controlled? Erica halted her sobs and sniffles. We have to try, Dex, or we'll be the last of everything. Do you think I care? He pushed over the redwood, and the loud tearing sound resounded all around, all down the mountainside. Erica snapped to her feet and screamed. The redwood snapped, and the branches waved out in the acid air like some kind of helpless child trying to grab hold of something, anything. Erica screamed again. Yes, I believe you care. Stop being so macho. There are no men around to watch your performance. For once, Dex, be a man. Accept you have feelings for people, companionship, and me. What will it prove? That you're human, that you can love, she said. And then what? We go on from there each day, day after, and into tomorrow, showing each other and others we can do more than destroy and deceive and steal. We can love. He froze, thinking about what it meant. To try and build something without destroying that something at the same time. Erica walked away, and he could see her walk wobble a bit. When she was halfway towards her cabin, she turned back toward him and held out her hand. He straightened his shoulders, looked back at the last tree lying in the dust of the earth, and began moving toward his wife. The end. Thanks for listening to this Cupiderosbooks.com production. Story by Cupiderus. Cover art by Cupiderus. If you want to support this fiction writer's efforts to write about courageous women who have agency, go after what they want, and achieve their goals, buy Cupiderus paperback books and ebooks at http://lulu.com/spotlight/Cupiderus, or make a donation to Carrie's Astrology at hotmail.com.